Yo, yo, yo.
What's good, everybody? What's good? What's good? And welcome to Call It in the Ring, not just another wrestling podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ron the Don, and we're going to get into why I am the Don of Wrestling. We're going to get into that later. But my co-host, as always, on the ones and twos,
Lord Thaffius,
Lord Thafius. I
aka
mean, get in there.
aka the casual fan.
Yeah, he gonna talk about why he's the casual fan out here. But all right, we're gonna get into this episode of it's still Monday Night Raw, but it's just WWE Raw because it's on Netflix and everything. But we're gonna get into it. And you know what? Let's just jump right into what everybody wants to talk about, what everybody's been talking about on this episode is your boy Roman Reigns makes his return. Now, I feel like Roman Reigns does this a lot. He always leaves and then returns. I honestly didn't think he was going to return this quickly, but you know, Roman Reigns has returned. Before we even get more deep into it, what do you think about, or how do you feel about Roman Reigns' return?
I don't care. I don't care.
Hold on.
I don't
Hold
care.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold
Not
on.
one bit.
Now, hold on. Now, we have had conversations about Roman Reigns, and we've had talks offline about how Roman is important to the product and how you want to see more Roman Reigns. And now we at the point where you don't care.
Because he's been gone so long.
Why don't you care?
He's been gone too long. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, people
Yeah.
are not gonna care when you become this, what they call it, the half-timer. What do they call it? What's the term for him? People like him and Brock, like a half-timer?
Part-timer. Yeah, when you're a
Yeah.
part-timer.
When
Yeah,
you
when you're a
become a
part-timer.
part-timer,
Yeah. Yeah.
nobody cares. You're not in any storylines. You pop.
Yeah.
It's a cheap pop to have you come out there. For someone like me, I don't care. I don't care until I see you on the roster in a steady storyline out every single Monday night, every pay-per-view. That's when I care. But for you to just show up to get a cheap pop, I don't care. I really don't care.
Yeah, I think it's hard. I think it's hard when it's like he got written off because he's gonna be a part of Street Fighter and things like that. So we know why he went away. And he comes back and it's like it doesn't really go into the storyline. It's Roman, so he's gonna be in a pretty decent angle for the most part, but until you see him constantly on the show, and that's the other thing too with Roman. It's not like we're asking like he has to wrestle every Monday or every Friday or whatever. As long as we see a constant presence of him on the shows, I think that's what made people care more. But again, this is another conversation to have. It's more like, okay, here's another moment that WWE throws at us of Roman Reigns, his return. But from what I've been seeing is like everybody is like they'd love to see Roman come back, even though he's returned how many times. People still love Roman, which, as the crowd reaction would dictate, people still love Roman Reigns, which I
Those
get it.
are
He's a big
those.
star.
They pop and they cheer for every little thing. I don't listen to that crowd. I have no faith in that.
I mean, you know what? It's really just the moment. It's just the moment is, and really, I feel like people sometimes they just cheer because a whole bunch of other people are cheering. They're like, oh, I wonder what they're cheering about. Let me just cheer too, type of thing. But yeah. All right. So Roman comes
Roman
back,
Reigns,
returns in the,
Roman Reigns, Roman
yeah, man.
Reigns. I hate that crowd, yo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate,
Uh-huh. Yo, you
I
just
hate
you just
that
don't like
crowd.
those chants, man. That's the thing. You just
I
don't like
hate that
those
crowd.
chants.
But yeah, on a serious note, I like Roman Reigns. I'm one of those people that feels like, and we can touch it because we have a general podcast where we're going to talk about Roman Reigns specifically, but I feel like this is
Yep.
the Roman Reigns era. I don't know what happened. It's not the Cody Rhodes era in my book. This is still the Roman Reigns era. So where are you? Don't turn into a part-timer now.
He's a part-timer. he's officially a part-timer in my book. I don't see him as I don't see him as going back to being full-time. He's a part-timer. And he's showed that, time and time again that he's only going to be, around for certain shows. He's not going to be there for all the time. So looks like we lost Lord Thafius real quick. Give him a few moments to come on back. All right, let's see what's going on.
Yo.
Yo, there we go.
How does this look?
You're in portrait mode. So you're on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're in portrait mode, but it does not look bad.
Okay. We might have to just rock like this until I get my internet things.
Okay.
Roman Reigns.
Yeah, Roman
That's
Reigns.
what.
We on the Roman.
Okay. So, do we need to add anything else to that? I think we had enough on Roman.
No, nothing additional to add on Roman. We could get into the main event.
Okay.
Because, the Vision is back in the main event. We got a break from them last week, but now they're back in the main event against the Usos in a tornado tag team match. And to be honest, it was a good match, but I figured something was going to happen because they made it a tornado tag team match. I think your guy Triple H has heard the fans heard us as far as saying we hate these DQ finishes, because these DQ finishes was wearing me out. It was like every time it ends in a DQ finish. So I think that's probably why they made the change, making a tornado tag team match to avoid the DQ finish. But it was definitely a surprise to have Roman coming to the match. Overall, good, great match. I liked the Vision. I actually liked the Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. I like their entrance. I like how they mesh their two songs together, how one fades out and then the other one fades, and other one comes in. I like that. I like that they have some cohesion as far as their jackets. They kind of reminded me of like some Road Warriors, because they had the leather jackets with the spikes on it and everything, had the Vision on the back. I like the aesthetic that they're coming off. Now we just got to put some gold on them. Like, we got to put some titles on these guys. But they also need to get some more wins. That's the other part to that too. And it just seems to me that like nobody really cares about the tag team titles, and it's getting a little irritating to me. It's like nobody cares about the tag team title. Like, you have all these tag teams and nobody is saying like, yo, like we want gold. We want the titles. Except for one team, but we'll talk about that team later. But it just seems like nobody cares about the tag team titles, which is sad to me. Like, you have these tag teams fighting each other, but what's the goal? What's the end? Like, the end should be that, we get wins, or we're winning as a tag team. The next step should be, hey, let's go for the tag team titles. But it just doesn't seem like that's a lot of these teams' goals, which as a viewer is very irritating. What do you think?
I think they need to talk more. I think they need more. They need more talking parts, even backstage vignettes. Seth does a lot of the talking backstage. I think they just need to talk more. Those guys need to talk as much as they possibly can. Seth is over.
Yeah.
We don't need to get Seth over. Seth is already over. So they need to have more scenes with those two talking, just like how you have Jimmy and Jay, they talk to each other backstage. I mean, they be fighting half the time and arguing half the time, but at least they're talking, they're in dialogue. You're getting to know their different personalities.
True.
These two, they need to have more conversations backstage. They need to come out and talk more in the ring. We already know that they can put on great matches.
Yep.
But great matches are nothing without true connection with the fans. So that's my only thing with them. They have a lot of potential, but they just need to talk.
But I think they do have a connection with the fans, because they get a reaction. So it's not like they don't get a reaction.
I'm talking about the casual fan, the true casual fan. Those are wrestling fans that they're gonna cheer for everything under the sun. So we're not talking about that. Anybody, I can go out there with a gimmick and get a pop with some theme music. Me and you can go out there as a tag team and because they're wrestling fans. No, we're talking about the casual fan connecting and becoming a true superstar. That's what they're missing. They need to talk.
Okay. I mean, I you know what? I think it needs to be yes, they need to talk more, and they need to have a motivation. Talk more and motivation. I think those two will go hand in hand, because they have been talking. They have had segments where they're talking. That's why we got into the whole, tribal thief, and with Braun Breaker, where he showed that he is the hothead of the group. So they have had talking segments. Braun Breaker has had really good comedic timing, in my opinion, but it just seems like the Vision, it's more of Seth, and then you have, of course, Becky, and then you have Braun and Bronson kind of on the side. I just think that people will connect with them once they actually have an actual goal. And I think that's what's missing for them, because Seth is the world heavyweight champion. What are these two guys? The only thing that they've been showing us is that they are the heavy, for Seth Rollins. That's all they've been showing. There hasn't been a motivation. And I would think that they would want to put the tag team titles on these guys so they could just run roughshod on the tag team division. That's the part that I think that's missing.
The thing is, they can't just put the titles on them without them having a reason to put the titles on them. They're not talking enough. They're not having a true connection. Outside of a match, there's no real connection there. So they need to talk more, build a connection, and then you put the belts on them. But if you just threw the belts on them right now, they're not gonna they're gonna be stale.
No, agreed. No, 100%. But that's what I'm saying. They got to talk about what that goal is. They want to talk about, we want the tag team titles. That's what we want. And then have them have matches outside of the Usos with other tag teams and build to them wanting to get those tag team titles. So I think if you give them a good mixture of them talking and them talking in the ring and matches outside of the Usos and all that stuff, I think that's what make people want to connect more with them. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my opinion on that. But overall, I think it was a good match. What's your take on the actual match?
I didn't care. I've been seeing the Usos and the Visions for years. Feels like years, but for weeks and weeks and weeks now, I don't care. Really don't.
Because it just seems like it's to what end? Like, what's the end result? Like, we've done a match, because I mean, this was just what was this? This was a rematch from WrestlePalooza. And like, what's the end goal? Yes, y'all don't like each other, but what's the end goal? Like, where does this end? Where do we move on to from here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I'm surprised LA Knight was not there. They finally took LA Knight out of there. I mean, I'm surprised. They just swapped out LA Knight for Roman Reigns. That's all I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I thought played in the most was at the end of the match, was at the very end. Of course, he helps Jimmy and Jay get the win, double Uso splash on Braun Breaker, which I was very surprised that he took the pin on that, especially if they're trying to, really build up Braun Breaker. I was very surprised that he took the pin on this. The part that I took away from this is how, Roman did beat down on Braun Breaker some more, hit him more with the chair and everything like that. But it was really Roman and Jay that were celebrating. And I liked how they had the camera real close. And you had just Roman and Jay talking about, see, this is what I told you. I told you this is what's going to happen, what to do. This is what I've been telling you. And then you just see Jimmy kind of off to the back. Roman never greeted Jimmy at all. It was just Jay, which made me feel like,
that's who he was on the phone with.
Yep, that's what I was just. Yep, that's exactly who he was on the phone with. Because remember, he didn't tell Jimmy who he was on the phone with. He just said, "Don't worry about it." Something to that effect. He was like, you don't got to worry about that. So it really means that he's been talking to Roman this whole time, which kind of looks like maybe Roman is trying to push Jay to be like, all right, so, you're the one now. You're the guy. You're the one that could get the world title back. Maybe they're going to have Roman kind of, start saying like, hey, I'm doing this for my family situation. It just seems to me that they're trying to resurrect the bloodline or the OG bloodline. That's just in my opinion. I hope this does not lead to another match between Jimmy and Jey Uso. I don't want to see that. I don't know how many other people don't want to see that. I know I don't want to see that again. Hopefully, I don't know if Jay's going to turn heel or not, and then Jimmy's the face. Because to be honest, to me, they finally were able to make the Usos stand on their own. Because, for so many years, it's just been the Usos. Which twin is that? This is like, you didn't know who was who. Now you can tell, you can see the differences between the two guys. You know who Big Jim is, which I hate that, but you know who Jimmy Uso is. you know who Jey Uso is by themselves, which I know that was the goal. So for them to be separate and be their own man, that is what has happened for them. But I don't know if we need to see them turn on heel on each other. To be honest, Jay, of course, was the more popular one than Jimmy, even though Jimmy is the better talker than but Jay is the more popular. He really went with that whole main event Jey Uso moniker and was really doing some, pretty good matches, even during them getting the Bloodline storyline and all that stuff together. And then it just seemed like, Jey Uso, as soon as he left the Bloodline, his stock went up, and Jimmy didn't go. He was kind of floundering on SmackDown. You know what I'm saying? So I thought it was interesting how they brought Jimmy back in, brought him over to Raw, put him back with his brother to try to bring that, fire back, which I don't know if by Roman coming back in the fold, if that's even going to work or not. Honestly, something's really drastically gonna have to happen for the fans to boo Jay. I don't see the fans booing Jey Uso. I don't see it. They'll probably boo Jim. They'll probably boo Jimmy before they'll boo Jey Uso, in my opinion. But we'll have to see what happens and how this unfolds. Do you want to see another Bloodline storyline? Do you want to see that?
Ronald,
What'd you say? Yeah.
Check. 1, 2.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't know if it's me or you, but it's starting to come in choppy.
Oh no, it's you because you look kind of grainy right now. But I was
too.
saying
I'm not even on Wi-Fi. I'm using my phone. Just my data.
Yeah, it shows okay for me. Yeah, it shows okay. I see you a little grainy, but I still hear you though.
Yeah. You were coming in real choppy.
Oh my bad. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix it real quick.
I'm actually having an idea. So we can cut this part out.
Yeah.
But I got an idea. I'll get on my hotspot and see if that makes a difference. I didn't think about that.
It may make a difference. Yeah. Come on,
I can get back on my laptop. But just now, I don't think that was me because I'm not even on Wi-Fi right now.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't because normally it would tell me if I'm having any connection issues. It says recording is high quality for me, but I know from what I'm seeing for you, you look grainy. But yeah, we'll edit it out. All right, I'll wait till you change because all I see is the heads up. And since you joined in portrait orientation, but it doesn't let me. Oh, it does. I see the little X. Okay, there we go. I didn't see it before.
All right, I'm about to leave.
Oh, Lord.
Let's see if this works.
Okay. Let's do it. All right. Do you have any other thoughts on the main event?
Check.
Yeah.
Let's see. No, I mean, they really got to do a better job, man. It's the same thing over and over. It's almost predictable. They swapped out LA Knight with Roman Reigns, but you knew somebody was coming out because somebody always comes out.
Yep.
But yeah, it's very lazy, predictable storytelling.
So, on another note, do you think that, because we talked about the fans, do you think that now the fans are just waiting for somebody to interfere and come out in matches? Because it almost seems like they just waiting for shenanigans to happen in matches.
Yeah,
versus actually watching the matches.
It's like they know, just like we know, somebody's coming out because it always happens at the end of every Monday Night Raw. So they start chanting different names. They chant CM Punk's name. They chant Roman Reigns' name. They just chant a bunch of names, and finally it was Roman Reigns that time. But they just chant, because they know somebody's coming out. They just don't know who.
Yeah, I thought that, or like a few years ago, they started chanting people names like when they get bored. So like, before CM Punk came back with WWE, they were chanting CM Punk's name because during certain matches because they were bored.
Yeah.
They'll just start chanting, other people names because they're bored or the match, they feel like the match is boring or whatever the case is, which sucks for the wrestlers, but that's just what I know it to be. But it seems like now, like the fans are like just waiting for an interference or waiting for somebody to run in and that's what they pop for. It don't even matter who it is. It's like, as long as there's some interference that shows some sort of chaos or something, that's what these fans are, going to gravitate to. But what I was asking
They're marks.
What I was asking before.
That's the
Go
definition.
into
Everything you
marks.
just said is the definition of a mark.
That marks. Mark plus mark. No, but what I was saying is, would you want to see another Bloodline storyline?
Yeah, I would. I think if done right, they could take over again. If done right. If I don't
Yeah.
really have a lot of faith. But I will say they did a good job. Did a good job with the Bloodline. I don't know who gets credit for that, but
Heyman.
if they can do that again, I would say yeah. Because they have the ability to build stars with the Bloodline. Say what you want to say
Yeah.
about Roman Reigns, even though I'm hard on him, I will say that he was one of the few top guys that made other stars.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily easy to do.
No.
Because
No,
Cena
100% agree.
Cena couldn't make stars to save his life.
No.
Yeah.
No, because he, they just had him go in and either squash somebody or have a trilogy of matches with that person, but not all the time they would end up, better on the other side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have to agree with you as far as for Roman, and also with Roman, these are his actual family. So it's not even like, he's just saying it's the bloodline. This is actual family that he's
Yeah.
that he's building up. With the bloodline storyline, it allowed, Jay to stand on his own and be his own man without Jimmy.
Mhm.
It allowed, Solo to have a character, even though I really did prefer his enforcer character the most, but at least now he actually has a character,
Mhm.
and he still has a presence, outside of all of this, of course, with Jacob Fatu, which now I think he's back. So hopefully they do more with Jacob. I honestly think they need to move Jacob to Raw, get him out of SmackDown. That's just my personal opinion. Get him away from the US title picture, get him away from Solo, bring him over to Raw, and let's see how he does on Raw versus SmackDown. That's my opinion on Jacob, because Jacob is a beast. And he could be doing so much more outside of the whole Solo vortex that they got going on over there. But all right, let's go ahead and get into the show. Now, this show opening, I will tell you, I was so excited to not see this show start off with Division. I was so happy about that. I was so happy that they started with something different. They started with how the main event was last week with Asuka and Rhea, which again, that match last week was a killer match between Asuka and Rhea Ripley. They showed the recap with that and how Asuka turned heel on IYO. She sprayed the mist in Rhea Ripley's face, and then basically the Kabuki Warriors turned heel on IYO SKY and beat up Rhea Ripley to end the show last week. So of course, rightfully so, this week Rhea Ripley comes out and she basically calls out the Kabuki Warriors, calls out Asuka. Didn't appreciate how everything went down last week. And instead of the Kabuki Warriors coming out, it was IYO SKY coming out, and she's looking sad. Really, really sad. There was actually a video that I saw on Twitter of her like crying, like sobbing, which I thought was a bit much, but I get it. It plays into the whole story with IYO because this is her family, and she just feels hurt and betrayed by both Asuka and Kairi Sane. So before we get into the next part of this segment, what are your thoughts on Rhea coming out at IYO?
The WWE is really struggling to find stars in this era. Starting the show off with Rhea Ripley, IYO SKY, it's just to me, they don't have any stars. These women, I love them, but they're not stars. Monday Night Raw used to have bona fide stars on it. So to start off the show with two people that are not even stars, it's like they're struggling. They're really struggling. They're struggling to build people up.
So you're saying that Rhea Ripley is not a star? Is that what you're saying?
She's not a star. She's not a star.
Well, yo, flame this guy in the comments. He is
Absolutely.
saying Rhea Ripley is not a star.
Nobody's gonna flame me. Nobody's gonna flame me for that.
Yes, they will.
Agree.
Yes, no.
She's not a
This ain't me. Yo, that's wild
She's not a
work.
star, bro.
That's wild work.
To
Rhea
all
Ripley's not a star.
the
Okay.
true fans that been watching wrestling for years, none of these people are really stars. None. I mean, you can drop anybody from this era in the Attitude Era, and they would go straight to the bottom of the card. There's nobody.
I disagree, bro.
There is nobody in this era. If you drop them on Monday Night Raw, if you drop them in the Attitude Era, straight to the bottom of the card. Who do you think can hang with Stone Cold, The Rock, The Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels? Who what's his name? Kurt Angle. Who can hang with them in this?
Are we talking about men or are we talking about women?
Just all of them. Anybody. You pick.
See, we talking about two different conversations we having. I was talking about Rhea Ripley. Then you went into Ain't No Star.
I'm just talking about
which one is it?
None of these people are not stars to me. They're not stars. They're struggling.
I disagree.
WWE is struggling.
I disagree. Well, you know
that's
what?
Why I love to have these
I will say this. I will say this. The problem that WWE has is their own fault. Is their own fault because they're not allowing a lot of these people to utilize what made them popular when they were in NXT. For some reason, they're deciding to change them up when they come up to the main roster. Use what worked. It worked in NXT. Do the same thing on the main roster. It's not that difficult. And I think what it was with Rhea is that she had so much momentum when she was with the Bloodline, not the Bloodline, when she was with the Judgment Day, you know, the whole thing with the whole mommy thing, with the whole dynamic between her and Dominic. She is a star, but for the past few months, it seems like they haven't been using her properly. They just had her in backstage segments. They haven't really been using her to the effectiveness as they could have. The last big thing that Rhea did was the match at WrestleMania, IYO, Bianca, and Rhea, and they had one of the matches of the night at WrestleMania. So that is crazy work for you to say that Rhea Ripley's not a star. That's the part I want to touch on. Rhea Ripley is a star. There's so many people online that see a Rhea Ripley and they like, yo, who is that? Drake even name dropped her.
They're not booking
and
her.
Said, yo,
they're not Drake.
Well, see,
Drake.
That's two different. Hey, yeah, Drake. That's two different. We're talking about two different things here. That's what I'm saying. We're talking about two different things. We're talking about star and booking. That's two different things we're talking about. It's not the same.
Let me tell you something. She would have been, because she has a look. Because she has a look, she would have been with the right push. And I'm trying to be honest, right?
Okay.
With the right push, with the right push back then, she may have made it past the mid card. May have in that time.
So
today,
go ahead.
They're not booking her right. She has a really good look. They're just not booking her right, and she needs to work on her mic skills. Last night it was kind of cringe to me. That whole promo with her and IYO just fell flat to me. They didn't need to be out there opening. This is Monday Night Raw. This is prime time. All the lights are on. The world is watching.
Yeah.
They didn't need to be out there. They didn't look like they belonged. No. Bro, I remember Monday Night Raw came on and that glass broke and Stone Cold headed to the ring and the show was up here, bro. You can't compare these people today to the ones back in the day. You can't. I'm telling you, you cannot compare these people today.
This guy's talking crazy right now.
They can barely talk. They can't talk.
Well, okay. As far as for Rhea Ripley, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just touch on Rhea Ripley again.
Mm-hmm.
Rhea Ripley can talk because remember, back in the Attitude Era versus now, it's just two different landscapes. I would put Rhea, as far as like look wise, in the same category as like like a Chyna. Yeah, I'm gonna say it like a Chyna.
I knew you were gonna say
like a Chyna. Why not? Because it's the truth. It is the truth. It's the truth.
You know the difference between her and Chyna? They booked the hell out of Chyna. Chyna
yes, they did because they had her as an enforcer. Yes, they had her as an enforcer, eighth wonder of the world.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
She got in there with men, and it was believable.
Yes, she did. Absolutely.
Because they booked her that way. They booked her to be believable. Yeah. They booked her to be that way. They don't book. She's like a friendly giant, Rhea Ripley.
Well, don't. But that's what I'm saying. I think you're forgetting the work that she did when she was with the Judgment Day. Remember, she was mixing it up with Dominic, with Finn, and all those guys. And then when she was a tag team with Damian Priest, because remember they kicked them both out, Damian and Rhea. It's just that a lot of that luster that she had when she was with Dominic Mysterio and a part of the Judgment Day has kind of faded because they haven't given her anything to really sink her teeth into.
All right,
Yes,
so
she was champion, but
when I read the words under your name, it says the Dawn of Wrestling Entertainment, right?
yeah,
What does it say under my name?
yeah.
What does it say
Well,
under
that's why
my
I'm
name?
here to school you. It says
No.
casual fan. That's why I'm here to school you.
So from a casual fan standpoint, I don't care about the Judgment Day and what she used to do and how she used to do this and use. I'm coming back and I'm watching what she's doing right now, and I'm not impressed.
Okay, so all right. So Rhea's not a star. Let's just even talk about just the women. Let's talk about the women. Is Becky Lynch a star?
Becky Lynch? No.
So is Charlotte Flair not a star?
I think Charlotte Flair's a star.
But Becky's not a star.
I don't really like Becky. I don't really like Becky.
Oh my God.
I've never really been that impressed with Becky.
Okay, is Bianca Belair a star?
She overacts. She's not believable.
She's doing that on purpose. She's doing that on purpose, guys.
She needs to stop. They need to tell her to stop doing that.
It's on purpose. She's doing it on purpose. Is Bianca Belair a star?
Bianca Belair. Who's that?
Bianca Belair, the black woman. Is she a star?
The black.
She has the long braid.
She's a star. Yeah, I think she's a star. Yeah.
Is Jade Cargill a star?
I think she has potential to be a star, but she just has a lot of work to do because she has the look.
Agreed.
So if she was booked right, I guarantee you in the Attitude Era, she probably would have been a star because they would have booked the hell out
absolutely.
of her. It would have been a different story.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And they just not booking her right. She shouldn't be having 50-50 matches with anybody.
No.
She's a monster.
No.
You need to book her as a monster.
So, let me tell you. So that's how she was booked in AEW. When Jade Cargill was in AEW, that's how she was booked. She was booked as a monster. She was the TBS champ. She was the longest reigning TBS champion. They booked her as a star. They booked her as a monster. You could not beat her. Yeah. That's how they booked her. But they also booked themselves in a corner because they basically said that nobody on this roster can beat Jade Cargill because of how strong that they booked her. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
No,
with WWE, there is ways.
Cut you off just a little bit.
Yeah.
Look at the way they booked The Undertaker. And I know we way off topic. We're supposed to be talking about Monday Night Raw. But look at the way they booked The Undertaker. The Undertaker was a dead man. He was almost like a zombie. He was indestructible. He always got up after you sit him down. But if you did get a win on him, it was because there was something that happened. You never got like a straight up win on The Undertaker because they always protected his character. So even when he lost, it was like, oh, the only reason why he beat him is because of XYZ. That's how you have to book somebody like a Jade. She can still lose, but the only reason why that girl beat her is because of XYZ. Something happened. There was an interference. There was a low blow. There was something that happened that caused her to lose the match. But she didn't beat her straight up because she's a beast. Nobody can beat her straight up. That's how you have to book somebody like Jade.
Or you can just make them look good in defeat where it could just be the other person just out wrestle them at this night.
Only at pay-per-views. Only like at a big pay-per-views. Yeah. You can lose at WrestleMania and still look good. But someone like Jade shouldn't be just losing and the other person out wrestle them. No, not like that. Unless the other person is her size. Unless the other person is her size. But you don't just get a straight up win on a beast like that.
Yeah, like one thing I will say, if we're talking about like back in the day, one thing like when I watched, the whole Macho Man and his documentary, and there was one thing that I took from that when he said that, he was the type of wrestler where he lived and died in the ring, and you win some, you lose some, but all of it happens in the ring, and there's gonna be moments where someone just out wrestles you and just a better wrestler than you that night in the ring. And that I resonated with that because
Macho Man wasn't a giant. He wasn't a big guy. He was just a regular size. Well, he wasn't regular size. He was huge, but
he wasn't regular size.
In the land of giants, he was a regular size guy. He wasn't the biggest guy in the room, right? So yeah, he can say that. I'm only talking about people like a Brock Lesnar, people like a Jade Cargill, people like that. The
Yeah,
bigger
like a
people,
Nia Jax.
you have
Yeah,
to book them a
Raquel.
certain way to protect them. They can't
Yeah,
have even Rhea. She's up there as far as, to me, I would put her in a giant category. She's a big stature
can be.
woman. She
Yeah,
has the look of a monster. You have to
yeah.
book her that way. You can't have her having a 50-50 match with somebody she's twice the size of this person. That just brings her stock down.
The thing is, really think it's a way of doing it. It's a way to do it. It's all of this is story. It's a way to do it that everybody, that she still looks strong in defeat. If they book her to lose, and then the other person looks good, as far as them winning because they're beating a monster like that said person. But yo,
All right.
look here, y'all. In the comments, flame this guy on him saying that
They're not
Rhea.
going
You know
to.
what?
They agree.
Give y'all opinion. Put it in the comments. Let us know. Do you think Rhea Ripley is a star? Yes or no? The correct answer is yes. But yes or no, is Rhea Ripley a star?
The
The
better question
correct answer
is,
is yes.
if you
This
drop
guy is
If
wild.
you drop Rhea Ripley in the Attitude Era, you take her out of this area and you drop her in the Attitude Era, where does she fall? The correct answer is to the bottom of the card.
No
She does not
way.
have what it
No
takes to
way.
survive in that era. None of them do.
Yes, you do.
None of them do.
Yes, you do.
But
No way.
let's talk about the Kabuki Warriors cutting a backstage promo with subtitles. How'd you feel about
Yeah,
that?
I enjoyed it. I
You,
thoroughly enjoyed it. I
of course,
thoroughly enjoyed it. I
of course.
enjoyed it. The reason why I enjoyed it because I like to see, the English, and I like to see them talking in their native language. It makes them look more menacing to me when they're talking in their native language. She talking in Japanese. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the more serious Asuka that I've been wanting to see. This is kind of shades of how she was in NXT for me, where Asuka was no nonsense. She was not playing with these folks. She's the one that had one of the longest NXT women's title reigns. Like she was at one point she had one of the longest reigns, longer than Goldberg when he had his winning streak. Like nobody was beating Asuka at all in NXT. Like it was not happening. She had so many competitors, so many people came to her, nobody was beating her. I think she had to leave. Yeah, she had to leave NXT and relinquish the title before anybody beat her. That's how dominant she was. And then they called her up, and then she had the feud with Charlotte Flair and made her lose at WrestleMania, and I was pissed off about that. But I like that they're giving her a more serious role in this, and I enjoyed the English and Japanese switch that she was doing. It made her look more intimidating to me. What did you think of it?
It was okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, I don't like this storyline. I've been very vocal about that in previous episodes. So it was okay. It looked like they were reading. I mean, I could tell they were reading. Her eyes were kind of off camera reading whatever she was saying, but
It was definitely
it was all
scripted.
right.
It was
Yeah,
100% scripted.
yeah,
So it was 100% scripted, but again, I just liked what they did, and we was able to read exactly what was going on, what was said. That got me engaged.
yeah.
So let me ask you, what don't you like about this storyline right now?
I don't. I just don't. There's nobody in this storyline that's interesting to me on that level. I'm used to watching stars, and I'm not watching any stars. I'm just watching a bunch of mid carders that are kind of in the wrong slot, and they would not be in this slot if there were real stars around. So they kind of have to be in the slot that they're in because there's nobody else there. So I don't think a lot of these people are not worthy to be opening the show of Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, you're opening? A lot of these people they would not even get a whiff of the opening slot of Monday Night Raw back then. They probably wouldn't be in the building. They come in if the show starts at 8, they don't come until like 8:45 because they have no business being there that early. They're never going to see the light of day
You
during that
wild.
time.
You
I'm
wild. You
telling
are
you.
wild.
I'm telling
All
you.
right. So I think that there has to be things that are happening which is creating stars. They're not just going to come out the gate being a star. So they have to get to that point. At least they are in a storyline that is not involved in a title, and it looks like it's a storyline that means something to all parties involved. So I will say that. For me, they're going to have great matches. Io, Rhea, Asuka and Kyrie, all phenomenal wrestlers. They're gonna have good matches, but I think I said this to you before that this is what is gonna that it was gonna lead to this tag team match. I had a feeling it was gonna lead to the tag team match just based off of the story that we were getting for the past few weeks. I had a feeling that Asuka was gonna turn heel. You know, it's just the way it looked like the story was going. So hopefully this is a blow off for them at Crown Jewel Perth. It's going to be a great match. I'm more interested to see what happens next after this. Does that mean that Io and Rhea move on to get the tag team titles? Does it mean the Kabuki Warriors move on to want to get the tag team titles? But after this match at Perth, it has to lead to something with one of these teams, you know, for them to do something. But overall, I do like that WWE are doing other storylines outside of the women's title and, of course, the Intercontinental title, which we'll talk about that later. But I like that they're doing other stories with the women, having them have something to do. But they got to get there to become stars. And you know what? And I do understand what you're saying as far as like the opening of Raw. That's a coveted spot. Only like, you know, real main eventers, real stars, you know, things like that get that slot. But you could say for the past weeks, it's been the Vision that's been getting that.
And they're not stars either, except for Seth.
Braun and Braun Breaker, they're stars in the
They're not
making, though.
stars.
They're stars in the making. They're not stars right
In the
now, but
making,
they're
yeah.
stars in the making. But that's the same thing for Io and Rhea. They're on the rise. They are both on the rise. They've
Okay.
both had killer matches. They've both in their own right had match of the night or match of that pay-per-view, no matter what show that they're on. Io has showed that she could hang with any woman on the roster and have a killer match with them. That match between Stephanie Vaquer and IYO SKY at WrestlePalooza, that was the match of the show. They killed it. That was the match of the show. There was no other match on that show was better than that match because they went out there and did their thing because they are phenomenal wrestlers. So that's why I'm like, that's not fair to say that they're not stars. They are on their way to be stars. But for you to say they flat out not stars,
I think we just have two different definitions of what a star is. And I know you didn't really watch. You didn't watch too much Attitude Era, so you probably don't understand how great WWE used to be. But this era is definitely more than a few steps below where it used to be. These people are not. They would not survive in that era. Chris Jericho, nah. They would never survive in that era. There's so many big names. They wouldn't get any TV time. They would get zero TV time because there's so many big names. How can we squeeze in Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed when we have all these people? They would never see the light of day.
And agreed. But that was the thing. But see, that was the thing back then. You had so many main eventers where you were able to just slot folks, you know, wherever, you know, like SmackDown.
The whole roster was filled with stars.
Raw was killing them. Yes, but it's also because they were put in that spot to become stars. Like if we want to talk about Chris Jericho didn't come in as a star. He came from WCW. They made him into a star. He became a star. The Rock became a star. Stone Cold became a star.
I would say he came in as a star because of the way they booked him. The way they booked. Bro, do you remember when Chris Jericho, like probably 6 weeks, maybe 2 months before he got there, they were teasing this Y2J thing?
Yeah, no, I know.
We didn't even know what that was. We didn't know who were they talking about. Who's this new guy? Y2J. And there was this countdown every night. There was a countdown for a long ass time. It was like a long time. Like it was like finally, like who's this? Finally on, I think it was Monday Night Raw. He made his debut, and the clock finally went down to 1, and we saw who they were talking about. Oh, that's the guy from Nitro. That's Chris
Yeah,
Jericho from Nitro. And then finally he made his debut. They did a great job of introducing him to the WWE universe.
they
He
did. They
came
put and
in,
they put him
and his first back and forth was with The Rock of all people. He went
and Stone
straight to the
Cold.
top of the
Yeah,
card.
yeah, yeah. And they
His
had him.
first promo, the
Yeah, it was
first
with The
time
Rock.
on the
Yeah,
mic was with The Rock.
yeah, yeah.
So that I mean, shoot, they all right. We're gonna drop him right at the top of the. We're gonna put him
Mhm.
toe to toe with one of our biggest stars, and then they made him the first undisputed champion. I was surprised Vince
Yeah,
did that because they said that Vince doesn't like to
yeah,
build people from other companies, but he chose a guy from another company to say, okay, this is gonna be the first ever undisputed champion.
yep.
I was like, wow, that's a great look.
No,
But
it
we're
is, and it
like,
was very shocking
yeah, it was super
because you didn't
shocking.
think like you said, you didn't not think that Vince was going to do that. You didn't think that there was going to have somebody from another company come in and be
Mm-hmm.
your first undisputed
Right.
champion.
Because there was always this thing about Vince. They said he doesn't push people that he didn't build. He
Yep.
doesn't push talent that is not homegrown. So the people that
Yeah.
come from other places, he doesn't push them as much as
You're
he
not
would
going to be
push
able. Yeah.
someone like a John Cena who started off with him. But he proved
Yep.
them wrong with that because Jericho came
Yeah,
in
because he was
and he put him right at the top of the card.
a great hand. I mean, he's a great wrestler.
Yeah.
No doubt
Yep.
about it.
Yep.
No doubt about it. But see, but also that's what you just said, that goes in line with the booking. If they're booked properly,
Mm-hmm.
then they can be stars. If they're not booked properly, how can we be invested with these folks and see them as stars?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the problem. They're not booking these
Yeah.
people properly so we
Yeah.
can see them as stars. And
Right.
that's one of the reasons why they keep relying on the old guard. They keep
Yeah.
relying on a CM Punk, a Roman Reigns, a John Cena. You know, and we've already talked about John Cena before, but John Cena should be wanting to put over the younger talent, but they're not booking him to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Brock Lesnar, he should be also, you know, he's past his prime right now. He should be wanting to put over whoever's next to take over as that big monster from him. That's what
Mm-hmm.
should be happening. But it's not happening because they're not
Mm-hmm.
booking these people right. They're not booking these
Yeah.
guys right so we can see them in that light. You know what I'm saying?
So just so everybody's clear, whenever y'all hear me criticize the talent, I'm really talking about the way the talent is being probably 80% booking and 20% the actual talent. Because I
you got to
do
clean that
agree.
up.
I do agree that Rhea Ripley has the look to be a star, but she's not a star in my book because they're not doing anything with her. She's not being booked right. She's not shining to me. Maybe with proper booking, she would be a star. Maybe. I don't know. We won't know until they book her right. Same thing with Jade Cargill. Maybe with proper booking, we'll see something else. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if we drop them in the Attitude Era because the creative was so good back then, because the booking was so good back then, maybe they would be stars. Maybe it is 100% the booking. I don't know. I can't tell. All I
It
know
got to
is
be the booking, man.
they're not stars to me. That's all
It
I know.
has to be the booking. Because I just had a thought. I'm thinking, like, if you drop the Rhea Ripley at the same time as China in her prime, you don't think that Vince would want to have a China versus Rhea Ripley situation?
Well, China
Yes,
would
he
wash
would.
her. Rhea Ripley is too skinny. Have you seen the size of China, bro? China would wash Rhea
Come
Ripley. That's a different weight
come
class.
on.
China
Come
was,
on.
bruh, China was built like a man. China
I know
was
she was built.
huge. And this was back in the, I mean, I hate to say it, this was still back in kind of like the steroid era.
Yeah,
Are we allowed to
true.
say that? Anyway, but this is
We say what
back
we
in that
want.
time.
We call
This
it in
was
the ring. That's what we do.
exactly. So this was back in that time. So China was extremely big and extremely muscular. I think if, to your point, Rhea Ripley would have probably been on the same steroids that China was on. So they both would have been bulked up. So maybe yes, and if you put her back in that era, yes, they would have been two women giants going at each other for sure. Because Rhea Ripley does have the size and stature. She's not like built like a man, like China was.
Yeah, because honestly, she's leaned out. She was bigger.
She's kind of slim. Yeah.
Yeah, she's leaned out. She's leaned out a lot, But hey, we'll have to bring that up. Maybe we'll do like a fantasy booking or something like that down the line on one of our other episodes. On drop them in the Attitude Era and see
Yeah,
how they would work.
yeah, that's actually on the docket. We have a discussion about stars today versus stars of yesterday.
That's gonna be a long
Yeah,
episode right there because
yeah,
I got some
yeah,
thoughts.
yeah,
I know you do. I
yeah,
got some thoughts.
yeah.
Thoughts. All right. So where do we end up? Oh yes. So we're still on the IYO SKY and Rhea Ripley segment. Asuka and Kyrie come out. Of course, they attack Rhea Ripley. IYO's conflicted. She runs back in the ring, and Asuka missed her with the blue mist.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, IYO is she's taken out, and of course she feels betrayed and all that jazz. And really, we could just wrap it up from there. We know it's going to be a tag team match with IYO SKY and Rhea Ripley versus Asuka and Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors at Crown Jewel Perth. So we'll see what happens with that. All right. The next thing we'll jump into is the Intercontinental title match. Dominic Mysterio versus Rusev. What were your thoughts on this match?
I didn't really care about the match. I like Dominic Mysterio, but I don't really care about this storyline, and I feel like it's kind of forced. But I
You
do
think it's
like
forced as
Dom.
far as for Rusev?
Yeah, like why?
Why does he get an Intercontinental title match?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just wasn't enough build up. And then to be honest with you, I missed Monday Night Raw last week. Maybe there was more that I'm, going on. And I think I missed Monday Night Raw 2 weeks in a row. So I'm kind of out of the loop. I just see two guys in the ring fighting. I don't really have a lot of background on why they're fighting. But I do like Dom.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
enjoyable.
So Rusev, he beat Sheamus. So that story
I remember
is
that. Yeah. I
over.
was around for
He
that.
beat he beat Penta because Penta was also somebody that was telling Dominic like, I'm coming for the Intercontinental title. He beat Penta. So now Rusev basically called out Dominic. Like there was a segment where Rusev came into the Judgment Day.
Yeah, I was there for that.
Then and he said, I'm coming for the title. So Rusev has gotten some wins. So he felt like, I want to go for the title. Ain't nobody else going for the title, so I'm going to go for the title. So I didn't have a problem with that at all.
So I didn't really
did
miss
think
anything.
you didn't miss nothing.
Okay.
I thought it was interesting that Balor and JD McDonough came down with Dominic and then they left. They was like, you got it. You on your own. I thought it was interesting because, Dominic has always had the Judgment Day with him to help him out in his matches and things like that. So I think this was a good change up for Dominic to show like, I can do this on my own too. So I really feel like he really honed into the lie, cheat, and steal Eddie Guerrero, moniker on this match. I thought this was one of his better Intercontinental title matches against somebody that you thought was going to beat Dominic. But, he was able to sneak out the win. So overall, I thought this was a very good match.
I didn't like the ending.
And
I thought the ending was it wasn't believable. He tried the thing with the belt where he was pretending like Yusuf hit him with the belt. The referee didn't fall for it. The referee said, I saw you throw the belt at him.
Plain
and
view.
Then he grabs the referee from behind. Rusev grabs him from behind. And he gives Rusev a low blow. And then he pins Rusev. But why were you grabbing me? As a ref, like, why are you grabbing me? That's a disqualification.
Yeah, and why are you pushing me against the
Exactly.
the top rope? Yeah.
You just kind of attacked me, and then you kicked him while I wasn't looking, and then you go over to pin him, and then I run over the count. Why would I do that as a ref? Why did you just grab me? Forget pinning him. Why did you just grab me? So little stuff like that is like, it would have been better if they had just kept it with the old school Eddie Guerrero. You hit me with the belt. I throw the belt in your arms, and I sell like you hit me.
Yeah.
I would rather it have ended like that as just an homage to Eddie Guerrero, but they made it something else, and I didn't think that something else was good enough.
I think on another note, I think they don't. For some reason, they went away with giving referees an actual character or giving the referees
authority.
a lot of say. Yes, like they used to.
Yeah.
Because, like, back in the day, we used to know who the referees are. We know who Earl Hebner was. We knew who a lot of the referees were. Now we don't know who they are as much as we used to, and they don't have that character. Because the referees, they just feel like they're just background now. They're not a part of the show the way they used to be a part of the show. And to your point, something like that back in the day, they would have got disqualified, or the referee would have gotten that wrestler face and be like, "Yo, what's going on? Like, why did you push me,
I'm not gonna
in the rope?
drop
Like,
down and do a pin count now after you just
yeah,
push me into the we got
like I'm about to
so
disqualify you." You know what I
right.
mean? Like that's how it would go down. Or they would come out the corner and be like, "Nah, just ring the bell,"
Yeah.
type of thing. Like, get
Yeah.
get this out of here. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So, but I feel like we've definitely gone away from that. So I get it. But as far as the way WWE is doing it right now, I didn't mind it because to be honest, how else was Dominic gonna beat Rusev? How else was he gonna beat him? There was no other way he was really gonna beat him outside of cheating to beat Rusev.
Yeah,
He
I
was gonna
didn't
take
mind
that
it. I
title.
didn't mind the cheating.
Yeah,
He's a heel. He's supposed to
yeah,
cheat.
yeah.
Heels are not supposed to win clean ever. It's just the way he won. I didn't. He just attacked the ref, and then the ref is going to turn around and count for him. It just didn't make sense to me.
No, I got you. And it just seems like Dominic right now, he's just over. No matter what he do, he's just over, man. So
Yeah,
I think
and
they're
the,
they're in a spot where are they gonna keep him heel or are they gonna turn him face? But
and the
he's
thing
over.
is, he's not over to me. He's not over because of them either. He's
No,
kind
no,
of
no.
organically over. The
Yeah.
booking is still bad. The booking is still trash. He's just so happens to be over with trash booking. He's a special guy where people
In spite of trash booking.
exactly
In spite of trash
exactly
booking. Yes.
yes he's still over. Yeah,
Yep.
and that's an
100%.
important thing to point out to the people when we talk about this. Even though Dom is over, it has nothing to do with booking why he's over. He's just over
Yeah.
because he's a likable character. He's connecting with the people. That's why he's over. But the booking is still trash, even for him. It's still pretty trash, but he still manages to be over.
Well, you know what? I just had a thought too. You can say it's a little bit of booking because remember they did book him to win the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania, and the fans were on board with him winning.
But he was over before that.
I mean, he was getting over. People wanted him to win, and he did win. And there was a big ovation for him winning.
I don't think
because they were already on board.
I don't think him having a belt has anything to do with him being over. I think he's just over. With or without a belt, he's still over.
I mean, yes, but he was over to the point where they had to put the belt on it, is what I'm saying. He was still over, but they needed to put the belt on
But
it.
the thing is, he was over before the belt. So I don't give booking any credit for him being over. Because he was over before he got the belt. Because there are people that walk around with belts that are not over. Just because you have a belt doesn't mean you're over. If they took the belt off of him tomorrow, he's still going to be over.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, now he has 2 belts, so.
Yeah. I remember there used to be a time where he had no belt and he would get in the middle of the ring, and as soon as he moved the mic to his mouth, he got booed.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
he was so over as a heel, they booed him out of the building. But it was the good boo, not the go away boo. It was the good.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he
got
been
good
over.
heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably had the best heat. He was probably the biggest heel in the WWE at one point.
Yeah.
He's no longer that, but he was the biggest heel at one point.
Yeah, I think with
because people are starting to like him now. So he's still, even though he's still a heel, he's not getting the heel heat. He's kind of getting like he's a heel, but we like him heat. You know what I mean?
He's getting that tweener. He's getting that tweener. Yeah, he's getting that tweener type of reaction where no matter, he's at the point where he's really getting to the point where no matter what he does, they're gonna cheer him. Yeah,
yeah, he could go full blown face tomorrow, and he'll be out of here. That's why I feel like he should. Well, I won't even say that because it probably wouldn't end well. I was gonna say he should be one of Cena's opponents, but I don't think it's gonna fare out well for him in the long run. It'll be good for that moment, but in the long run, once Cena's gone, it probably won't benefit him in any way. They need to keep him right where he is. He's doing fine.
So why do you think it wouldn't benefit him though?
Because John Cena doesn't make stars, so it'll be hot for the moment when they're facing each other. But after Cena's gone, because Cena's about to be gone.
Yeah.
Now what? You made it to the top of the mountain. Now what? Cena's gone. Who else is out there? I think he's fine exactly where he is. Let him slowly creep up the way he's creeping up. But if you just throw him up to the top of the mountain, he has nowhere else to go but down after that. So let him stay where he is. He's doing fine. In
So
my
you
opinion.
don't think that so you don't think that if Dominic faces John Cena and beats John Cena, that he can't ride off of the bragging rights of beating
Means
or potentially
nothing.
retiring?
Look how many people beat John
You know what?
Cena.
Yeah, you know what? And I
And they
think
went right back
so
down to the middle of the crowd.
yeah, that's true. You know what? It would be a different situation if they didn't announce that this was John Cena's retirement year and Dominic was officially his last match and nobody knew that this was going to be his actual last match and he actually retired. I think that's where the issue is. So it's like whoever his last match is, it just feels like this is just his contractual last match. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really mean as much. So I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just more so thinking along the lines of, you know, Dominic he could use that as bragging rights to be like, he could be, you know, delusional
gonna
to
matter.
be like, I retired John Cena, you know, no one can say that they did that. I'm the one that's done that, you know,
It's not
stuff
gonna
like
matter.
that. But
It's not gonna matter. John Cena's out of here. It's a
he is out of
wash
here.
at this point. Yeah. Terrible
Man,
last year.
that sucks, man.
Yeah.
This is your biggest merch seller. And this is how y'all do John Cena, man?
Yeah,
His last
terrible.
year?
Tune into our
Garbage.
Patreon where we really break down the John Cena last
My
hurrah.
God.
You know, we got some things on Patreon talking about John Cena in this last year. We go in depth. So
And I feel like we're gonna have to go more in depth because my
we
Lord.
might have to have a part 2. Just to cover,
That
because
was so bad.
we kind of covered the first up until like September, and we can do like a part 2 to cover from September to December. Just to cover, you know, we can cover maybe in January we can do a part 2 of this scene. After it's all said and done, we can do a part 2.
Yeah.
To just look at the full year as a whole and just talk about how bad it was.
Yeah, be on the lookout for our Patreon. We'll put the links in the description. All right, let's continue on. Let's continue on, Raw. Let's continue on. All right. we'll move on swiftly. So next we have the Bailey Raquel match. And then of course before the match, you know, there was exchange between Bailey and Lyra backstage. Lyra, she's kind of looking at Bailey like, yo, I don't know what's wrong with you, if you have a psychotic break or whatever, but I'm not helping you no more. I'm not coming out there with you. I don't know what's going on. So Bailey goes out, has her match with Raquel. And again, I really like Raquel. I like what they're doing with her, but they need to figure out what's going on with this whole Raquel and Roxanne stuff. Are they going to be going for the tag team titles? Or if you're going to put them in singles, put them in singles, but figure out what we're doing, because unless they're just trying to just give Raquel more reps, I don't know, but we need to figure this out, because it just feels like if one person faces Raquel, that same person going to face Roxanne and vice versa. So if you beat Roxanne, you're not beating Raquel, or if you beat Raquel, you're beating Roxanne. It just feels like it's just flip-flopping between these two ladies like there's no other women.
Bro, I'm so glad you said that, because I've been watching Monday Night Raw as the casual fan for the past, how long we've been doing this? Like 2 months off and on?
Yep.
I haven't caught every single Monday Night Raw, but I've been watching, and it's the same people.
Yeah.
It's the same people. Those two Judgment Day girls, they interchange them. One week, that one will have a match, and the other one will be outside. And then the next week, the other one will have a match, and the other one will be on ringside. It's like the same thing every Monday night.
Yeah.
What the hell? They don't have nobody else?
But that's what I'm saying, is like, why are these ladies not going for the tag team titles? And also, why are the tag team titles just sitting on SmackDown with Charlotte and Alexa? Why are they not on Raw? Why are they not on all these shows? Why are they not on NXT? Why are they just sitting on SmackDown? bring y'all asses over to Raw. Like, what do we do? Or have them go down to SmackDown. Like, come on.
How many tag team champions are there? Just one? They got rid of the one for each brand.
Are you talking about for the women?
Yeah, just both men and women. Because they used to have a tag team for each brand. That they only have one tag team champions, one set of tag team champions now for each brand.
So the
for
women,
both brands,
the women are the only ones that have the one tag team titles. Now for the men, it is two separate tag team titles. You have the tag team titles, and then you have the world tag team titles. So the world tag team titles.
So the women never had their own, like, brand wise, Raw tag team champions, SmackDown tag.
No. Right. They did have the NXT women's tag team titles, and then they had the WWE women's tag team titles, and then they merged those two belts together, which I thought that was the most stupid thing that you could have ever done by merging those two titles together. And the reason why I say it was stupid is because there's way more women tag teams or way more women in NXT. They're the ones that could have benefited the most of having tag team titles down in NXT. Or if you wanted to consolidate them, that's fine, but at least have your tag team titles go on all shows. Don't have them just sit on one show.
I don't think these two need tag team belts. I just think they need better booking. Who cares if they have belts or not? And I don't even see them as a tag team. I see them kind of like how I see Braun Breaker and Braun Strowman. Two solo people that are a part of the same group. I don't see them as a tag team. Are they a tag team?
Yes, because they were just recently tag team champions. They lost the titles.
Raquel?
Yeah. Raquel and Roxanne.
Are they a tag team or are they just two solo people? Because there's a difference.
So the backstory behind this was the original tag team for the Judgment Day was Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan got hurt. They subbed Roxanne in for Liv Morgan.
So Liv Morgan was never a solo competitor?
She was. She was also a women's champion.
Okay.
She was
I see her more as a solo person.
She was. Okay. She was a solo. Right. She was a solo act. She beat Rhea for the women's title, and that's why they had their feud and everything like that. So she was a champion. But then, of course, when she went away from the women's world title, her and Raquel decided to go for the tag team titles, and they were tag team champions until she got hurt. And then they subbed in Raquel, and then Raquel came in and they were tag team champions. But it was Charlotte and Alexa, which also are two single competitors, now a tag team. So you have two sets of single competitors that originally were singles competitors are now tag teams. I think my issue is just I just want to see these folks have motivation and want to go for something versus you just out there having matches. And again, it's not saying you're having crappy matches. It's just that it just looks like you're having matches for the sake of having a match, and it doesn't mean anything. Like, what does this mean? Is this going to put you in line for a world title match? Is this going to put you in line for a tag team match? Like, what are y'all motivation?
Bro, it all goes back to the booking.
Oh yeah, 100%. 1,000%. It's a part of it's all about the booking and how these ladies and how everybody is booked and how we as fans gravitate to these folks. Because again, I don't feel no way about the performers because I know all these people are great performers. But if you're not giving me a reason to care about you, then I just don't care. So I got you.
Yeah. So this match, what was your thoughts on overall?
Overall, I like the match. I like Raquel. She is wrestling like a force. She's doing way better in the ring. I think she's one of the most improved wrestlers of the year for me. They need to do something with this whole Bayley storyline. They need to figure out what they're doing because it's losing my interest on the whole thing with Bayley. Like, cause they've done split personality gimmicks before, but they need to figure out if they're going to make her hugger Bayley, if they're going to make her this role model heel Bayley. They need to figure out what they're doing with her because it is losing. I'm losing interest in this, and I love Bayley. but I'm losing interest in this. They need to figure this out.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, I get it. I got it the first time. Okay, you have a split personality. Now what? Don't do that every
What's
single
next?
time you come out.
Yeah.
But
What's
that's
next?
what they do. Remember, I told you about what's the CM Punk's wife?
We're talking about AJ.
AJ, yeah,
Yeah.
I told you. What did I tell you?
Which part?
Didn't I tell you they were gonna mess? They were gonna mess her up. That return.
Who?
AJ.
You talking about AJ?
Yeah.
You think they messed her up?
Where was she?
Well, I mean, she's not back yet, but she ain't messed up yet. What are you talking about?
Why? Why is she not back? She just came
because
back.
CM Punk's not back.
Every show.
But CM Punk's not back. Hey.
Is he injured?
No.
So
they're giving him a little break.
He's not back. Why? How you giving me a break? I just came back.
They giving her a little break. They giving her a little break.
So they can get another cheap pop when she comes back on Monday Night Raw?
You already know. That's what's going to happen.
And then the cheap pop leads to nothing.
No, it's going to lead.
And then they send her away again for another 2 weeks.
No.
And she comes back to get another cheap pop. Bro, why is she gone?
It's gonna
she
lead.
Just came back. She should be on TV.
I know.
People are going to not care. Okay.
Oh, they still going to care.
All right.
AJ Lee, they're going to care. Right. Remember, I said that they still gonna care.
You have so much faith in these people, bro. You have so much faith in these bookers, these WWE bookers. You have so much faith. All right, let's go. What's next?
No. We're not even gonna jump on next yet. I wouldn't call it that I have faith in the bookers. I have more faith in the performers in this one. People love AJ Lee. I know it's not enough, but people love AJ Lee. She gets great reactions. They just called her name in the whole Becky Lynch segment with Maxine. She's still with the whole thing and we could just jump into the whole Becky Lynch thing real quick. Becky Lynch had a segment with Maxine. Maxine made a joke to Becky saying that, you can't beat AJ Lee like that, and she got frazzled. She got frazzled because of Tozawa laughed, and she decked him in the face.
Yeah.
So
in my notes, I have Becky and some chick backstage got into a competition.
Maxine. Now, and I was gonna touch on this briefly with Maxine. I don't understand why they're putting Maxine back to have a match with Becky Lynch, because we haven't seen any growth from Maxine. She had that quick match with Becky before with that led to Becky having a match with Natalya, which that really led to nothing. Why can't they have Maxine? Why can't they show her that there's been progression? Give her some matches, give her some reps, have her in matches with other women and have her get some wins. We haven't seen Maxine get any wins. So why should she have a match with Becky Lynch at this point? It doesn't make any sense.
Because AJ's not on the show tonight. Who can we stick out there? We have nobody else. We have no stars on the show. Let's just stick somebody. Hey, you free Monday night? All right, come. We'll write you in on Monday night.
Yeah. It was like next week they're gonna have a match. AJ Lee's gonna run out, help Maxine, and that's gonna lead to Continental title match between AJ and Becky, and most likely AJ will take the title from Becky. That's what I think is gonna happen. You said terrible?
That's terrible. All right.
Agreed.
What's next?
Agreed. All right. So next we have the LA Knight and Kofi Kingston match. Now, there was a backstage segment with LA Knight. Of course, he is the last person to pin Seth Rollins. So, of course, he feels like, I need to be going for the world title. So he's having a conversation with Adam Pearce. And then here comes the New Day. Now, it seems like the New Day is the only tag team that care about the tag team titles because, of course, they're asking Adam Pearce, like, yo, we want a tag team title match. But again, they haven't proved anything as far as having a match because they haven't had no wins. They haven't got no wins. So for the first time, I feel like I agree with Adam Pearce because I'm like, you haven't proved anything, And of course, Kofi comes in saying like, he's a former champion, LA Knight. So on the flip side to that, LA Knight has not won a one-on-one match since he's came up to Monday Night Raw. So that was another thing too. It was like, he hasn't won no matches. So it's like, okay, let's put him in a match. Why does it have to be Kofi Kingston? I don't know. They could have put him with anybody. Why they had to be Kofi? I don't know.
You know why?
I don't get it. Good.
You know why? Because they have this thing where they book these impromptu matches backstage every Monday night. So LA Knight is talking to Adam. The New Day just so happened to walk up, and they just book a match right there on the spot.
Yep.
Why? What's the story?
Yeah.
So that's the theme of Monday Night Raw. They do it every Monday night. They at minimum, sometimes more than one. Minimum one match is booked backstage the night of Monday.
Yeah. Yeah. True. That's true. You're right about that. I just felt, I mean, it was a decent match with Knight and Kofi, of course, because, you know, Kofi's a phenomenal wrestler. But I just feel bad for Kofi, because Kofi is like, it just feels like he's never going to get back to the main event scene, which he was a few years ago. It's never going to come back. It just feels like he's just slipping. No, it just feels like he's just slipping more and more down the card, which I just feel so bad for him as far as a wrestler. Which, you know, he's probably most likely getting paid crazy money, so he's probably happy. He probably don't care. But from what I see, it's just like, damn. Ever since Brock squashed him, I don't know if you remember that when Brock Lesnar squashed him on the first episode of SmackDown on Fox, when they squashed him and Brock took the title from him. He has never recovered from that.
Yeah, I remember.
He never recovered. So decent match. LA Knight gets the win. You know, LA Knight gets more momentum. And I just feel like Kofi just slides more down the card. That's why I put in my notes. Kofi slides down the card, which is terrible. All right. So let's, you know what? Let's jump into the other stuff before we even talk about Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. I think I want to, let's end with that. So let's talk about this, AJ Styles, Dragon Lee versus Los Americanos. Which I had so many issues with this, because here's another two guys thrown together as a tag team, and they both have other stuff going on. Dragon Lee wants the I can't even see what you wrote.
You can't see that?
What'd you put on that? You put boring? I see AJ Styles
at the bottom
and Lee. What boring? Now I see. Focus now. Now I see he said boring. My God.
And I love AJ Styles. So, you know, nothing against him. And while we're talking about stars, AJ Styles would be probably top of the mid card in the Attitude Era. He would definitely be up there in the Attitude Era for sure. Yeah.
I think he would be, well, you know what? I think he's would be one of them ones. Yeah, he would be on par with like a Chris Jericho. He would be able to go toe to toe with Chris Jericho.
No.
Yes,
Well, it's Chris Jericho is a great talker. I'm talking about like overall star, not just in the ring.
Okay, overall.
Everybody know in the ring, but Chris Jericho was.
I'm talking about in the ring.
He was on that mic. He was hanging with The Rock. He was hanging with Stone Cold. He was hanging with Triple H. He was hanging with the best of the best back then.
Yeah, he was hanging with Shawn Michaels. He was hanging with Ric Flair.
Right. AJ Styles he's not bad on the mic, but he's not great on the mic. He's kind of like okay on the mic. You can put him on the mic.
Yeah, he's okay. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
He showcases in the ring.
That's his real showcase in the ring. He's one of them ones in the ring for sure.
AJ would need
he's decent enough on the mic to be who he is. He's not terrible on the mic, but he's just, you know,
AJ is a guy that would definitely benefit from like a manager, like a Paul Heyman type. Not saying that it needs to be Paul Heyman, but like a Paul Heyman, you know, type of manager to have like a mouthpiece, which that's another thing we need to talk about. We're not going to talk about it now, but how they kind of went away from having managers. I think managers are beneficial, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that later. So I didn't think the match was boring. I just thought that these two guys are not really focused on this match to me. Like, they asked for this match because Los Americanos been interfering in their stuff, but it's like AJ's focused on, you know, John Cena, and Dragon Lee is focused on getting the the AAA Mega Champion from Dominic Mysterio. Basically calls him out for that. And this Los Americanos, they basically just turn them into a jobber team. Like, why would you introduce this new team or this new trio of Los Americanos just to have them lose? Where do they go from here? There's nowhere for them to go. You just turn them into straight up jobbers, which is does not make sense to me. They didn't need to do this match. They could have had Los Americanos have other matches to build them up and then face AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. And if you want to have them lose there, then that's fine. But at least give them some wins under their belt. You just had them come out. This is the first time we see this group together, this Los Americanos group, and then you have them lose? That's garbage. And I know who those guys are under the mask. This Rio and whatever the dude's name is, Rio, and I think it was like Blaze or something. I was like, what? I know who those guys are. Those are all European guys. It is Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. And I feel so bad for the wrestlers, but it goes back to the booking. It's this trash booking that they continue to do with these wrestlers and make us feel like we're stupid. It's not good. Garbage. But I already know you are like, it's just boring. This ain't it. So this didn't grab your attention at all.
Like AJ Styles.
Yeah. Okay. We can move on from that. I feel like I'll get off my soapbox. We can move on from there. All right. So we had a backstage segment with Stephanie Vaquer and talking about her match against Tiffany Stratton at Crown Jewel Perth for their women's championship match. Tiffany comes in and basically says, you're not going to be able to beat me. Basically like, you're not going to be able to beat me. So that should be a decent match at Perth. We'll see what happens with that. And the last thing we want to talk about is this Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes exchange. Before we even get into the promo, what did you think about that whole like video package, that whole like kind of documentary video package between these two guys kind of talking about their history? What did you think about that?
It was decent. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was
decent.
good.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. It really highlighted their history.
Yeah.
Between each other.
And it was helpful for me too, because coming back into watching wrestling again, I needed that context, that history. Yep. It helped me.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Seth has never beat him, and they had it looks like they had some really good matches. They had a WrestleMania match and they had a Hell in a Cell match.
Yep.
Cody had the torn. I've seen footage from the match where Cody had the torn bicep.
Yeah.
Not bicep. Pec.
Torn pec. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I've seen that footage before. I just didn't really know where it was from. So it was good to kind of have that refresher to see their history. And that's what you call painting a story. Wow.
Yes.
Go figure. So now I'm hooked in. Me of all people.
They did a good job with that. That's one thing with WWE. They do great video packages and things like that.
Yeah. Decent. I'm not gonna give them good, but yeah, they did a decent job.
I'll give them good. I'll give them the good. So when they showed it in the package, Seth was Cody's first opponent coming back to WWE. He was his first. Okay. So that was I think that was WrestleMania 38. He was either WrestleMania 38 or 39. Cody was the surprise opponent for Seth Rollins. So that's why that was that first match where Cody won, of course. The second match was the.
So wait a minute. He didn't know who he was going to face at WrestleMania? He was told that it was going to be a surprise person at WrestleMania?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, everybody knew who it was.
Cody Rhodes. So that was when Cody Rhodes first came from AEW back to WWE. It was in a surprise match at WrestleMania? Wow. Yep. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was a surprise match. He did not know. Well, he knew, but of course he played it up like he didn't know who his opponent was going to be. But
like in the storyline, he did not know who was.
Yeah, correct. He did not know.
So the news had leaked out. The fans kind of knew that Cody's contract was up, so they were suspecting that it could be. So okay.
Yeah, it was so much speculation and hype because nobody thought that Cody was going to leave AEW and jump ship back to WWE. Nobody thought that was going to happen in a million years.
I thought they brought him, so they didn't bring him back at a Royal Rumble like they normally do?
No.
Like when people come back? He just came back at WrestleMania? That's kind of
It was past, it was past, it was already past Royal Rumble and all that.
Who was in charge back then?
Vince.
Okay.
That was a Vince. That was a Vince.
Yeah.
The story was that they went, Vince flew to, I want to say they flew to Georgia to meet with Cody to get him in. Yep. And they brought him in at WrestleMania. Because again, Cody had to, and they talk about it. He had to leave WWE to become that bigger star on the indies because he knows, and I commend Cody for knowing that, hey, I was only going to go but so far if I would have stayed in WWE. I had to leave, make a name for myself, and then come back. Kind of like what Drew McIntyre did, because he was also, Drew, he got fired from WWE. They let him go. And he went on the indies, made a name for himself, bulked up, did all this stuff, and then came back to WWE. And then Cody came and did the same thing. Cody really is the one that laid the foundation for other people coming from AEW saying like, hey, you could come over to WWE. It's good over here too. So that's why I hate this whole tribalism, this whole like what WWE's doing with, pinning WWE versus AEW is like everybody can eat. Everybody can exist in the wrestling space. You don't have to be targeting this company because you're only good because this company exists. Because before y'all were worse. Y'all are still bad, but not as bad as it used to be. So okay. So video package is great. Seth Rollins comes out, he's super focused. He's not doing the whole jokey, playing up with the crowd, stuff like that with, that he's been doing. He's more focused and it looks like he's just more focused on the task at hand. And, he really was hammering like with Cody, like he has to win. Like he has to win. He has to show that he is the champion, which I can respect. Why not? Because, it's for so long, they made it seem like the world heavyweight title was the lesser title. And it was all about the WWE undisputed title because of who had it. Who had it? Roman had was it 3-4 year reign with the title? And then of course it went to Cody, which it went to John Cena, then back to Cody. So that title has that prestige versus the world title. They just recently brought that back within the last few years. So I get the motivation from Seth Rollins. I 100% get it. And then of course Cody Rhodes comes out. I thought it was interesting that there was no pyro for Cody. Maybe there was a mistake on that. I don't know what happened.
Too.
He sure did. He was like, yo, what's going on? But we gonna move on. So, like I said, I did like their exchange when he got in the ring. I did like that, Cody brought up. He was like, we don't determine the future. Like they, the fans determine the future. You're talking about you're the future. The fans is the one that dictate what the future is. We don't know what the future is going to look like in the next 10 years, whatever the case is. But you can kind of tell from Seth, he's like, look, I don't know what you're talking about. You talking about you're the quarterback. I'm the quarterback. I'm the one that's running the show. This is not your show. This is mine. So what did you think about their exchange?
I thought their exchange was pretty decent. It was definitely a highlight of the show. You could see the difference in weight class, if you will.
Yep.
Difference in professionalism. Those two are clearly a step above everybody else. You know what I mean? Promo-wise, everything. So
100%.
They hit all their spots. Both of them can talk. Yeah, it was definitely a decent promo for sure.
So what did you think about the jabs that Cody brought up saying like, hey, you don't even have control of your own team, your own faction. Like, did you know that they were on SmackDown? Did you send them to SmackDown?
Yeah.
What's up with Paul Heyman announcing Brock Lesnar, which I thought was interesting to bring up Brock. I was like, okay, because I was wondering that too on the whole WrestlePalooza thing. I'm like, why is Paul Heyman announcing Brock Lesnar? Like that seemed, so I liked how that played in to, their exchange. And it just kind of, it looked like Seth was saying it, but didn't really believe what he was saying when he was like, no, I'm in control or everything. No, he said everything goes through me.
Runs through me.
Yeah, he said everything runs through me, which he said it a few times, and I'm like, you sure everything runs through you? Because it doesn't look like you too sure, sir. Like, you're looking kind of shaky there. So, so
I
what
thought it was good. I'd like to see where they're going with that. forecasting. They're telling us that that's going to come up again in the future. Is there some kind of dissension between him and Paul Heyman already? I know Paul Heyman wears many hats. He's still the advocate. You know, him and Brock didn't fall out. Him and Punk fell out, and him and Roman fell out. So he's no longer the wise man, and he's no longer, what did he call himself when he was with Punk? I guess he was an advocate for Punk.
He was I think he was an advocate, I think, for Punk. He was an advocate for Punk, advocate for Brock, and then he became the wise man for Roman. He's the Oracle.
The Oracle.
Yeah, he's the Oracle for Sept. Yeah, he's the Oracle for Sept.
So I didn't really see too much wrong with it because I know that him and Brock are still cool. Now, if he had came out with Roman or if he came out with Punk, then that would be like, what's going on there? Because they're not supposed to be cool. But he never fell out with Brock, so I didn't really see anything until Cody brought it up. So that's interesting to see how that plays out.
So also,
mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
And I thought that was very interesting. And then that's when he did when Paul Heyman did the announcing for him, I was like, okay, what's going on? So this is a bold prediction. I don't want this to happen. I've been hearing about it, and I think this may happen. Speculation. I will say this. Seth is definitely going to win. Seth has to win at that match in Perth. He has to win. But I feel like there will be interference, and maybe the interference is Brock Lesnar. Because like you said, Paul Heyman still has a relationship with Brock. So maybe, Paul enlists the services of Brock Lesnar to help Seth win the match. Now, does that mean that Brock Lesnar is inserted into the vision? I don't know, but but I think that would play into, helping Seth to win.
Win the match against Cody?
No, win the match against Cody. But I would think that if they do that, then that has to lead to a Cody versus Brock Lesnar for the title. And do we want to see that again? I don't. I don't want to see Brock back in the title picture, to be honest. I don't want to see it. But again, what do you do with Brock Lesnar if he's not in the title picture? What do you do with him? I have no idea.
He doesn't need a title. You're a title hungry type of person. Brock does not need a title. A lot of these people don't need titles. They just need to be over. Title doesn't necessarily mean make you over.
I don't disagree. I'm not disagreeing with you. But what I'm saying is because Brock Lesnar is a main eventer, they have put him up as a main eventer. What else do you do with Brock Lesnar unless he's there to put somebody else over? If Brock Lesnar's not there to put somebody else over, what else do you do with him? Is the question I'm asking.
You don't need a title match to be a main event.
No, I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you.
As long as you're in a storyline with somebody, you can have a match. It doesn't have to be around the title.
I know that, but WWE is in the habit of doing that. I'm just saying what WWE would do. I'm not saying what I would do. I'm talking about what they would do, how they would book it.
He doesn't need that.
Agreed. I don't want to see that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Brock Lesnar going for no more titles. He doesn't need it. He needs to be either squashing folks or putting people over, and really at this point, he needs to be putting folks over. They need to be looking at who's going to be the next guy that Brock Lesnar could have a feud with, and that person that Brock could put over on the back end.
One thing that kind of startled me last night was that these arenas that they have these shows in, they need to make sure they have showers in these arenas because clearly there's no showers backstage. This woman got sprayed with mist at the top of the segment of Monday Night Raw. An hour later, they show her backstage covered in mist, and she's still sitting there like, you should have taken a shower. You should have washed that stuff off.
She was in 3 different segments. She was in 3 different segments.
The whole night.
And looked like she was getting bluer. She looked like she was getting bluer.
They put more on her because in the ring, I think it only caught her like on her forehead or something like that. It didn't
It
catch
caught
her
on her
all the
face and
way.
everything. Yeah, she was mixing it in. Like you could see that
She
she
had
was
to
like,
been, yeah. But
yeah,
by
she
the
was
time she
mixing it
went
in.
backstage, it was more mixed in. Like they probably added more. I don't know, to make it look like she got.
But you know what? When Rhea Ripley got misted last week, she was walking around with the green mist on. She was taking pictures with fans with the mist on. Like she had it on. So I don't know if they're doing that just to play it more into like, yo, this is some permanent ink that they using or whatever. But I agree. I thought that was kind of weird. It's like, y'all got no showers. You can't take a shower, get some soap, wash it off.
They should have shown her backstage. If they wanted to continue to have her have promos backstage, they should have showed her coming out of the shower with a towel on, cleaned up, the towel around the head.
Yeah.
Towel on the body. And she's talking to Rhea, and they're having their promo without the mist on because she was smart enough to go and wash everything off. And literally, Raw started at 7? I want to say it was like 8 o'clock, maybe 8:30 backstage segment with her, and she still had that stuff on.
Yeah,
like,
still had it on.
What's going on? Clean
Yo,
yourself up, girl.
See, I didn't even think he was gonna touch on that because that's why I didn't even bring it up because I noticed the same thing. I was like, why is she still blue? What's going on here?
Sometimes I feel like I got to take my logic hat off when I watch wrestling because
you have to.
Like,
you have to.
I didn't have to though. I didn't have to before. I have to in this era, but I
you
didn't have to before.
You will go mod if you don't. You have to take it off. Logic or what that?
Dash with.
Oh, what I'm taking. Dash with the logic business. All right. Well, that is Monday Night Raw. Is there anything else you want to touch on this episode?
No, man. Another episode. Call It in the Ring. We'll be here We'll do an episode after every Monday Night Raw. Moving forward. Plus, we got some content behind the paywall. Check out our Patreon.
Be on the lookout
and keep rocking with us. We got a lot more episodes to come, so keep rocking with us.
If you like what you hear, like what we're talking about, please put it in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. We got more to come. We got more shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
We got it.
And even if you don't like what you heard, put it in the comments. Let's talk about it. I'm not afraid. You can disagree with me. Ron is the same way. You can disagree with him.
No, disagree with this guy. Disagree with this guy.
Let's have good dialogue because we got the content coming. You know what I mean? So
we got it for you. We got it for you.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Until next time, be on the lookout. Until next time, we out of here. Peace.
All right, y'all. Peace.